Okay, Pasha, we have to move to Brasobri. Brasobri, please go ahead.
Okay, I'll go after him.
Okay. Shupsa, thank you very much. I want to say, pardon me, I just want to start with compliments. First, I need to congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns for starting the YouTube channel. It looks like you guys are the trendsetters, which is quite good. And I also heard Coach Mangoba Mneti saying you guys are not competing locally anymore. They're competing with teams like Al Ahly and Zamalek. That's very good. It shows that you've got a foresight. And simultaneously, I want to congratulate Coach Rulani Mokwena. I've been following him. He's a very articulate coach. Maybe it runs in the family. And then he's got brains of football. He reads the game very well. And I'm impressed with the numbers that he gives because the numbers don't lie. And then, Coach, you together with your staff, I need to congratulate you guys for what you said, that the reason why you went from Mokwena and Rulani, I think today we saw those reasons that you provided. So good luck going forward. Coach, I know that you are not happy with this performance of today, but when I looked at the game myself from my perspective, I think Sundowns was very dominant, but probably you need more. It's good to ask for more from players. And then are you guys already gearing up for Friday, or is it Friday in your back of your mind, or what's happening in your mind?
If you want to know what's happening in my mind, I don't know how long you have. We'll be here until Friday, in fact, if I have to tell you what's on my mind. I think first is, I without trying to jump on the bandwagon, I think it's good to hear journalists speaking about the progression that the club is making, the vision that the club has for the club and for South African football. And kudos once more to Mamelodi Sundowns' leadership, the Motsepe family, senior management, the chairman for driving this vision of making sure that not just on the African continent with Al Ahly, Zamalek, etc., but even with regards to global standards. I mean, the partnership with Rock Nation as a global brand, not just a local or a continental brand, but as a global brand with a huge iconic status, and partnering with Mamelodi Sundowns already is a significant step towards highlighting the ambition of the club. But having said that, I think there's a lot of hard work still to be done, and the club is very aware that part to what we do on the pitch with the team, we've got to also escalate and get to that level as a club, because you've got two entities in any football environment where you've got the club and you've got the team, and the team on the pitch is what it is and everybody can see, but we are trying to make sure that we punch in that level, and that means even with regards to the recruitment. And again, if you look at the current recruitment of a player like Savreda, who is a full Bolivian international, plays World Cup qualifiers for his national team. Against Argentina, he starts. Against Brazil, he starts. And the player and the club has that type of pulling power to entice a player of that type of caliber. Speaks not only about where we are as a team, but as a club, you know, the profile of this club and the magnitude of the stature of this institution. So it humbles us when we can hear people recognizing, and of course that recognition goes, as I say, to the leadership of this club, because they drive that vision and help us to be in the space that we are. With regards to Friday's match, we can only start looking at the match today. We know that our opposition have been in the country for the last 2.5 weeks or so. They've played friendlies against Stellenbosch. They've played friendlies against Cape Town City, where they also lost 3-2. They've got a friendly tomorrow on Tuesday in Cape Town. And their preparations have gone well. And yeah, it's going to be a difficult game, but we start already now. Today we recover and we try to get the players as fresh as possible for Friday. That becomes the immediate objective, 1, 2. Then we come in and we do the analysis and we do the debrief of this match. We check where we went wrong, some of the things that we did not do so right, and it is very clear that there's quite a few. So we've got a bit of work to do with regards to that, so that we can try to improve the performance. And then we start focusing on the opposition, and we start having a match day -2, match day -1, where we have 2 training sessions, and we focus on the tactical preparation of the opposition. But we've got a very good squad. We've got a very good group of players that understand where we are and the demands of playing for a club like Mamelodi Sundowns, that in the good moments we are not so high, and in the bad moments we are not so low. And that 24-hour rule even counts after wins like this, because we've got to keep our feet firmly on the ground and continue to work to improve the team and improve the individual players, which I'm sure we will do. So yeah, so in relation to answering your question, I hope I've given enough, but I think on behalf of the club, I will receive the kind words and the complimentary message about where the club is going, and thank you so much. We appreciate
it. Karamo Pasha, please go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Coach, and good evening to all my colleagues as well. Coach, I've had an opportunity of being in a couple of dressing rooms, and already I've seen Mokwena, the respect that he already commands, the trust that he commands from his teammates, and it's 7-8 days with the football club. What type of a player is he on the training grounds in terms of working with him? Of course, he's new. We know the qualities that he has in terms of long range passes, but what is he like on the training ground with his teammates as well? And just a quick one: 111 games, 13 goals. Ricardo Nascimento confirmed he's left the club. Your thoughts on him? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Karabo. Look, on Debza, I think it's there for everybody to see. I think if as a young player coming through the ranks, already at 23, you are amassing close to 100 PSL appearances. You are playing at the level of going to the under 23 with the under 23s to the Olympic Games. You are in that space where you are a full junior international. You are playing already as a full international for the senior Bafana side. That already profiles the qualities that he possesses. And of course, as we alluded earlier, we are very clear in our minds. The club has been after Tebogo for quite a couple of transfer windows, but we felt this was the right time to be a bit more aggressive in recruiting him, to try to strengthen the team in certain areas where we felt we needed a little bit more strengthening. And he comes in with those qualities where he can add value with regards to, exactly as you say, the qualities that he possesses, his ability to play the progression pass, the possession retention pass, his ability to shoot from outside the box, his ability to break down play, his ability to initiate counterattacks, and also to get the late runs into the box. And what is more surprising even is his influence in an offensive sense. A lot of people, when they think Tebogo, they think a very defensive number 8 or number 6, but the reality is, if you look at his numbers and his profile, he's a player that can make huge contributions to our attack. As a human being, I've been blown away by his character. The first day he arrived, he asked for his video clips. He asked for our video clips in relation to our principles and our schemes, and he wanted to know how we play, and he invests a lot of time into the game. After the game against Richards Bay, he had his notes, he had his corrections. We sat down and we checked, because we are also very clear that our responsibility now is to make him an even better player. And like we have that responsibility with all other 35 players that we have in the squad. So Tebogo is no different, but a good human being that's got exceptional work ethic and is coachable and already has won the hearts of a lot of his teammates. So that speaks about not just about his qualities as a human being, his profile, his characteristics, but also speaks about the type of human beings we have in our change room who welcome players into the team with open arms and understand that we don't recruit to damage the profile of the squad, but we recruit to strengthen and to improve the quality of our team. Because as a team, the stronger we are, the easier. It's very difficult, but the easier it is to be able to challenge and compete on all fronts, and that's the responsibility that we have as Mamelodi Sundowns. Ricardo, Nascimento, yeah, well, I'm sure the club will officially make it, release a statement, and I think that is only fair and proper, because the reality is when a loyal servant like Ricardo has served you with such distinction, it is only proper that you deal with his departure with the best possible dignity and respect for the profile and his contribution. He's been nothing but a loyal servant. His performances on the pitch speak only about a player that was always willing to do more than required of him. The qualities that he possessed will be very, very difficult to replicate, one or two to replace. So we've got our work cut out as a club to make sure that we get a player of the same sort of tactical qualities, if not better, you know. So that shows and speaks about his qualities as a football player. But over and above that for me, I always say that good football players are only good if they are good human beings. And I don't think I've got one bad word to say about Ricardo Nascimento. I don't think anybody at the club has got a single bad word to say about Ricardo. A gentle giant, a humble soul, someone that's always wearing a smile on his face, always prepared to do more than required. Shows huge determination and perseverance. He's had 2 very, very big surgeries, and those did not stop him from being able to recover and to serve this club. And when you have that type of mentality, because you have the right sort of human qualities, it helps you to become a very good football player. So I think it is only also proper to wish him a happy birthday. We wished him a happy birthday in private, but it is his birthday today, and I think it is only proper that on behalf of the Motsepe family, the president, the chairman, the players, the technical staff, the Masandawana family, we can publicly also wish Ricardo a very happy birthday, but also thank him for his contribution to this club, and he'll always remain a part of our family. He knows that the club has already extended plans for him to stay and to continue in a different capacity, but his feeling also is he feels he's still got 1 or 2 more seasons to play, be it here locally or back in his native country in Brazil. But that's for him and the club to make those announcements in due course. But ours is just to thank him for his humble contribution towards the success of this club for the years that he's been here.
Coach Collie, can you keep it to 1 question, please? Tasrik, then Masrola.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Shupis. Hi, Coach. Congratulations on the victory. It's a quick one. I mean, prior to the purchase of Mokwena, Coach Van Gogh spoke glowingly about George Mamelodi. He was on the bench today. And does this mean he's falling down the picking order with Mokwena arriving at the club? And what are your expectations of George Mamelodi, who hasn't played many minutes, and are there minutes in the future where you can get some game time? Thanks.
Yeah, football is the funniest thing because a couple of months back we were asked why Gaston is not playing. Gaston comes onto the pitch, now we have to answer why George is not playing. But that's football. Football. Unfortunately, the laws only allow us to play 11 players, and fortunately, even now the number of substitutions have increased from 3 to 5. So we can only incorporate 16 players. We need a big squad because we are competitive in the space where we are in. We are fighting on different fronts, and to fight on different fronts, you need as much. And it's very difficult to say the depth because in the depth you also need quality in the numbers, and that's what we have. Any of these players, including George Maluleka, can play for any PSL side, and in fact they walk into the starting 11 of most of the 15 PSL sides, and that's how good they are. But it's announced not only to compete for a place in the team, but we have a responsibility to train them and to improve them and make sure that they are ready. I cannot speak in even more glowing terms about George and his professionalism, how he conducts himself. He prepares himself in a manner that puts him in a position where if he is called upon, he is able to perform and give us the right sort of level without any deterioration with regards to the quality of the performances, which is very, very difficult. And I think a lot of us do not understand how difficult it is to come to training every single day, even knowing that the possibilities of you being on the starting 11 or being on the pitch are very slim, but you've got to make sure that you train very well and you put yourself in the right position to compete for a place in the team. And when you have so many good players, that becomes of paramount importance, because if you then are given a chance to perform and then you don't capitalize on it, you become in a position, or you place yourself in a position that is unfavorable. So at the end of the day, we've got one principle and one principle alone, and that's meritocracy. We try our level best to put the best performing players. And when I say best performing players, I mean performing every single day at training with the right sort of attitude, the right mentality, pushing and working extremely hard to improve each other with regards to the intensity, the work, the quality of the training pitch, because as they say, iron sharpens iron, but also to put yourself in a position to be able to represent the club in terms of supporting each other to assist in getting closer to the objectives that have been set for us. So that being said, I've got nothing but complimentary words for George, but I could say the same about Kermit Erasmus. I could say the same about Lisedi Kapinga. I could say the same about even Ricardo Gross, Riyad Peters. I mean, the list is endless. These are hardworking individuals who are always prepared to do more than what's required of them. And at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but the reality is sometimes we are a bit unfair to the players. Although we try very hard to give opportunities. We gave an opportunity to Toby Mvala today, which we also thought he played exceptionally well. We gave an opportunity to give to Mutupa today after quite a long time. Brian has now played only his fourth game, if I'm not mistaken, fourth start for Mamelodi Sundowns. And that's also because of the absence. But if he doesn't put himself in that position when Musa comes back and Grant Kekana comes back, then we've got serious problems. But he understands that he also has to do the best that he can, like everybody else, and speak on the pitch. They know that the sulking, the moaning, that sort of discussions and that sort of talk doesn't help at Sundowns, because at Sundowns, any starting 11 can win you games. What you have to do is you have to be professional. You have to conduct yourself in a manner that allows you to be considered for selection. And when you do that, you make the job of the coaches a lot harder. And that's what we want. We want the job to be hard, so that the results come and the life of the club is a lot easier.
That will be the last question.
Okay, thanks, Shippy. Coach, I noticed in your CAF schedule, the game on Friday is in Rustenburg. The Sundowns have a new base now. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, thanks, Mazola. Look, it's a difficult one, and it's a bit complicated because it's CAF inspected all the 3 stadiums that we put forward, and as our recommended stadiums, you would know that in the past we've used Loftus, we've used Lucas, and we've also used we registered the Tuks Stadium as one of the possibilities as an alternative. Upon inspection, CAF was not entirely happy with all 3 stadiums for various reasons, from lacking the adequate generators to not being satisfied with the medical facilities to not being satisfied with the dugouts and the safety of the chairs that were in different facilities. CAF then proposed that we use FNB Stadium. But the difficulty in FNB Stadium is clearly knowing that, of course, our arch rivals use that stadium, and in some of the dates where we have our home fixtures, Kaizer Chiefs are playing a couple of home fixtures at FNB, so that became a no-go. And then they recommended that we can use Rustenburg, and which suits us in the sense that, of course, one, we are not too worried about the distance because it's not so far in terms of traveling. Two, the quality of the facilities, the quality of the pitch suits the requirements for Mamelodi Sundowns because, of course, we want to use a stadium that has a field that allows us to be able to be dominant and play the way we want to play. So we were quite satisfied with the pitch in Rustenburg. But yeah, it's not ideal. It's not that we abandon our home, and our supporters can rest assured that we tried everything within our powers to be able to assist all the stadiums that we had put forward to meet the requirements set out by CAF. But unfortunately, this is what happens, in South African football. And it's not just Sundowns. This is what happens when you don't have a facility that is yours, because then there's quite a lot of red tape that you've got to go through with municipalities and the like. But yeah, we've got no control over that, so we try to focus on what we can control, and what we can control is making sure that we prepare the team as best as possible with the given conditions to be able to succeed and do exceptionally well in the Champions League is very, very important for us. So I don't know, I hope I've answered your question, but I think the club will also issue out a formal statement if need be with regards to that. But we can allay the concerns, particularly from our supporters. It was not something that we had much control over, and we tried our level best to make sure that Lucas, Loftus, and even the Tuks Stadium meet the requirements, including going out of our way to try to give whatever necessary resources to be able to assist, but it wasn't to be, and therefore we had to find an alternative, and the best alternative was to go to Rustenburg.
Can you take your time for last question? Subject, okay. Subject.
Up to you, Ships.
Yeah, because the hand is still up.
Up to you.
Last question.
Yeah. Up to you.
Thank you, Shupi. Tapani from Tokaladima. Coach, just a quick one. When are you expecting Safrega in the country, if he's not already here, and also in terms of starting to train with the team?
Yeah, we're excited by the profile of the player that comes into a very good player that comes into a very good team already. We're looking forward to inducting him into the processes and the work that we do. Savrera, as you all know, played for Bolivia in the qualifiers on Tuesday. He then had to work with regards to getting all the necessary travel documents, including COVID tests, He left Bolivia, went to Peru, and came to the Netherlands. So you're talking about plus minus more than 20 hours in transit and in flight and traveling to South Africa. He arrives very, very late hours tomorrow. So when we resume for training on Wednesday, he would have just arrived and only have put his feet down on the South African land. But we're excited. Hopefully he'll join us by Thursday. We'll induct him into the club. We'll work with regards to all the other medical procedures that need to be done, and familiarize him with our training, the squad, and the processes that happen with regards to our preparation, and then we will take it from there. Hopefully, we can incorporate them into the matchday squad as quickly as possible. But we are very, very patient and excited, and this is not just big for Mamelodi Sundowns, but it's big for South African football, because if you can bring this type of profile of player to the South African game, the bigger beneficiaries are the South African public, and this can only augur well for South African football and the future of the football of this country. So once again, we'd like to thank the management of this club for supporting us with regards to the recruitment and the window that we've just had. A lot of work, extensive work, a lot of sleepless nights. You must understand that trying to negotiate for Savreda and the time difference between South Africa and Bolivia means a lot of our staff, senior management, Brastan, Yugesh, these were people that had to spend a lot of sleepless nights and the early hours when most of us were sleeping, and trying to make sure that they recruit and conclude this deal. So we'd like to thank them for their efforts, and that's why this club is as big as it is, and it succeeds because it's never been, and it will never be, a one-man show. The contributions that happen behind the scenes are immense and go a long way to support our endeavors. So it would be extremely incorrect or unfair of me not to mention the hard work I'm speaking about, the recruitment of Sabrada. So yeah, that is that. I don't know if I've answered your question, Tsapang, if you're happy with my answer, but yeah, any other coach Sabrada should be in South Africa.